Hey guys, wow, okay, honestly, little surprised that my first video got as much traction as it did, but I guess I'll continue on with kind of some of my thoughts about cryptocurrency and what all is going on. So oddly enough, I just talked about the Kondrati of winter and Kondrati of cycles in my last video that I did, and I still believe that that kind of thing is coming, and I'm on board with that more than anything else, but something did just happen that throws a little bit of a wrench in my plans in terms of Bitcoin's analysis. So this evening, literally just an hour ago, was the end of a weekly close. And it was a really important weekly close for Bitcoin because Bitcoin did end up closing below its 50 EMA, which essentially is if we took, the end of the week for every week of 50 weeks and we average that price together, it would put a little trend line on the screen over time showing what that average price is. That's your 50 EMA. Now, why is it a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because for the last couple years, actually literally since this run up started happening, we have always bounced off of that 50 EMA from a technical standpoint in terms of when we bounce higher and keep continuing this bull run. So for the first time, we have closed below that 50 EMA. Now, a lot of people are a little scared by this, and rightfully so, because from a technical standpoint, that's a big trend break to have over a weekly time period. I know things happen on an hourly and a daily even, but a weekly time frame to have a bullish trend break of any kind is going to be a big deal. But let's keep in mind, this is just one indicator, right? And we can't just use one indicator for our entire analysis of what's going on in the market, okay? We talked a lot about in the last video, some bigger macro picture things that are happening out there in the market, and we want to keep all of that in mind as well. So personally, what am I doing in all of this? Well, I'm gonna hodl. And hopefully I don't end up looking like a degen like some of these other crazy people out there do, because it very well could be the end of this bull run, potentially considering that big trend break. However, whenever we have something going down like this or have a trend break or some big, problem, so to speak, that pops up for our bull run, I think we want to go ahead and take a bigger picture look. What is the smart money doing, right? Well, of course, we've had people like Eric Trump and Tom Lee and Michael Saylor and all of them, making all these big claims about how crazy Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these altcoins are going to be over the next, couple months, year, whatever. They really haven't given a time frame. They've just said that, well, actually, that's not true. Tom Lee has said by the end of the year, he thinks, Ethereum will be at like 20,000 or something like that, which does seem crazy. And sure, could they just be blowing smoke to make us the exit liquidity, all of us retail? Yeah, they totally could. But then we have the beauty of crypto. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that everything is out in the open for us to see. So if that were happening, I would expect to see those guys sell